What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta, VYPE Media here. Another installment of the Coach's Corner. A lot of movement around the state of Texas. We're here with Coach Travis Reeve, the new head coach at El Campo. He's coming over from New Caney. Coach, just talk about what was it about El Campo, the community, the Ricebirds that really said, hey, this is a great spot for me?
Well, it's been a great tradition for a long time. Got great community support, and it was a place that one school, one town place, a little smaller, setting. And my family and I had been in Cuero for 14 years prior to being in New Caney, and loved our time in New Caney. New Caney was fantastic to us, but just the opportunity to get back to a little smaller town and in a place like El Campo was just too good to pass up, and really glad to be here.
I mean, what a way to go out at New Caney, though. I mean, winning the district. What was that? It was a special season, had to have been. What was that like last year? Really bringing New Caney to new heights.
It was a lot of fun, and felt like we were very blessed. Our kids really had a great season. It worked really hard prior to the season to get ready, and quite honestly, it was a culmination of the 3 years that we were there, and the hard work of the teams even before this year's team. And but to go in, move up to 6A, be able to go 11-1, win the district, and it was a special year. God really blessed us in a lot of ways, and it'll be something that not only myself but the people in New Caney and those kids are going to remember for a long time.
Well, I tell you, El Campo, of course, Ruben Owens has just graduated, but you're right. It's had a great lineage of talent there. Talk about your culture. What is the culture you're trying to bring to El Campo?
Well, our brand, like it was in New Caney, and even last part when I was in Cuero, is UMW, Uncommon Men Win. And our philosophy is we want to make sure that we are developing our kids to be great men first, to be successful in life first. And, we feel like if we can instill the habits of a winner, that the winning is going to take care of itself. But they're going to have a whole lot more, as a result of being in our program than just some wins along the way. And hopefully our kids are going to be successful for a long, long time.
What is kind of your style? I know you're just kind of getting there, but what do you think you're going to be able to employ there? Will it be run-oriented, pass-oriented? It seems like that's kind of been your style is the ground game and playing really good defense. Will that be the same?
Yeah. I always think that to win, you got to be able to run the football, and you got to be able to stop the run on defense. So that won't change. But as far as the particulars of our style, we'll see. We'll see what our kids can do, and we've always tried to tailor what we do to the strength of our kids. And we'd like to be balanced on offense. To be able to throw it and run it. And but again, that just goes back to what can we do, and so. We'll be finding those things out in the coming weeks and months, but I know we've got some great kids here and looking forward to getting on the field with them.
You talk to coaches, regardless of where they are in the state of Texas, everybody loves the concept of being the only game in town in that one school district. It's kind of Friday night lights as you really get connected to the community. And you did the same thing at Cuero. Why is that a good fit for you? Do you feel like you could connect better to the community and kids?
Yeah, I think that's it. There's just you get an opportunity to really get to know people on a personal level. I mean, yes, we're with them at school and practice and off season, things like that. That's common amongst wherever you go. But in a smaller town, you're probably going to see them at church or at the grocery store or at the Little League ballpark that night or whatever. And it's just, you get an opportunity to not only know the kids, but their families And when you go and watch, doesn't matter what sport, you know those kids. You've been watching them since they were in middle school, elementary school. Everybody's there. Like you said, it's the only show in town, and there's a different vibe there, so to speak, in that it's just more personal because everybody knows everybody, and the kids grow up wanting to be rice birds, and it makes for a unique experience.
Yeah, I mean, seeing you after the game of the Woodland, y'all beat the Woodlands at y'all's place. It's like you just took a deep breath, and it's like, man, that was a big win. But you could see almost the emotion that you really want these kids to have that experience.
Yeah.
And man, it's people don't realize the work that y'all put into it to get kids to buy in to get there. How do you get a new group of kids to buy in?
Well, I think you got to be intentional, with your time, and you can't rush things to where you skip the foundation of your program, to get to what all the shiny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're very intentional with our time in trying to develop family, develop trust amongst teammates and coaches, to build those habits of a winner I was talking about. The things that a lot of people want to talk about, like discipline, leadership, and effort, and toughness, and all those things. But we want to try to be intentional in making sure that we don't just talk about it, that we be about it. But beyond that, I think the character part of it, and teaching kids how to be great men or women, if it's our girls sports. I think when you do that, kids begin to understand that you care more about them as people than even what you do out of care about them as athletes. And I try to convey that to our kids, because it's very easy to just want to see them win, and then they graduate and they go, and that's it. But what did we really do for them? And hopefully, over time, our kids see that we really care about them as people, and and obviously as athletes too. But you really build strong relationships with those kids and their families, and when everybody is believing in the same thing, going in the same direction, and pulling for each other, that's when special things, like what you have mentioned, can happen.
And finally, a lot of times it comes down to building a staff and all the vertical integration that your staff has with you. And nowadays, it's hard to build a staff just because it seems like the coaching industry is not that, there's not a huge pipeline in the coaching industry. Just talk about, has that been a struggle, or you already got your people in place and away you go?
Well, I will say this: it's certainly become more challenging, like you say. I mean, there's not as many people in the profession, and that presents challenges. But I've been extremely fortunate. When I was in Cuero, we had guys, coordinators. Zach Linscomb was our defensive coordinator. Jordan Hadaway was our offensive coordinator, and they were there the whole time. Clint Coles, was on our staff, the whole time there, and some others, and then they went with me to New Caney, and and so it made that transition, as smooth as it could be, and now those guys have gone to go be head coaches and coordinators, and it's very fortunate to be able to get my brother Charlie on as the offense coordinator, and he's the head coach at Victoria East now, and Chase Hargis came over from Magnolia last year as our defense coordinator, and he went to go be the DC at Allen. And so, the success that we've had has been great, but and it's provided those guys opportunities. But at the same time, then you're trying to find those next guys, but God's always blessed us with great coaches of character, and that's something that we're working on doing right now, is putting together a staff in El Campo, and we're off to a great start. Got some really good coaches on board, some great coaches that are already here. And Coach Worrell's staff, obviously had a lot of success here, and they're obviously a big reason for that. So it's always a challenge, but it's also something that it's fun because you get a chance to coach with a lot of people in your career and makes it special.
Well, El Campo makes a lot of sense for you and your family. People may have looked at that. Oh my gosh, he's leaving New Caney to, after a historic season to go to El Campo. But I don't know if people are watching where people are moving as well, but it's going that way for sure. Watch out. This could be a superpower over there in El Campo. And I think the district may have just hired one of the best in the business, Travis Reeve, coming over for New Caney. Coach, hey, all the best. We'll come check you guys out right before the fall starts to see how it's going over there. But thanks for joining us. This is Matt with VYPE. We'll see you at the games.